Opening hook. Have you ever heard someone say they became successful overnight? Let me tell you the truth. There is no such thing as overnight success. What looks like an overnight victory is actually the result of years of sleepless nights, sacrifices, doubts, sweat, and relentless hard work. Success never sneaks into your life while you're sleeping. It visits when you've spent nights awake, chasing a vision no one else could see. Alright? Here's the full Asian expansion of point once. Obsession beats motivation, written in an EA's 800-word motivational style, filled with examples from daily life so listeners truly connect with it. 2215p expanded point 1 Obsession beats motivation. Motivation is like a spark. It excites you, it gets you started, but just like a spark, it fades quickly. One day you're motivated, the next day you're tired, distracted, or discouraged. That's why most people never finish what they start. They sign up for the gym after watching an inspiring video, but 3 weeks later, they stop going. They start writing a book, but the manuscript gathers dust. They begin a business idea, but abandon it as soon as it gets tough. Motivation is temporary. What separates the people who achieve greatness from those who quit halfway is one word: obsession. Obsession is not about trying when it feels good. It's about becoming so consumed with your dream that you cannot sleep without thinking about it. You cannot relax without working on it. And you cannot imagine a life without it. Obsession is when your vision isn't just something you want, but something you need, something that feels like oxygen. You can't live without it. Think about athletes. A motivated athlete might go to practice, work hard, and then go home. But an obsessed athlete, they're different. They don't just show up, they study their craft, they train harder than anyone else, they replay their mistakes in their head, they wake up at 4 a.m. to run while the world is still sleeping. That's obsession. Kobe Bryant was obsessed. He wasn't just motivated by winning, he was obsessed with becoming the best. Stories of him practicing for hours after a game, shooting thousands of times until his arms ached, aren't just motivation, they are obsession in action. And it's not only athletes. Look at inventors and entrepreneurs. Thomas Edison was obsessed with creating the light bulb. He didn't just try once or twice. He failed over 1,000 times. But his obsession kept him working until he succeeded. Steve Jobs was obsessed with creating technology that wasn't just useful, but beautiful. He wasn't satisfied with good enough. That obsession is why Apple became more than a company, it became a movement. Elon Musk sleeps on factory floors, not because of motivation, but because of obsession with his mission to change humanity. Now let's bring it closer to our daily lives. Have you ever had a project or dream you cared about so deeply that time disappeared when you worked on it? That's obsession. Maybe you're a student who refuses to settle for average grades. While others cram the night before, you stay up for nights, reading, researching, pushing yourself because you're obsessed with excellence. Or maybe you're someone trying to lose weight, not for a week, not for a month, but as a lifelong transformation. Motivation might get you to the gym for a few weeks, but obsession makes you redesign your entire lifestyle, choosing water over soda, walking instead of scrolling on the couch, preparing healthy meals while others order fast food. Obsession is also what separates dreamers from doers. Dreamers talk about what they want. Doers are obsessed with making it happen. A dreamer says, I want to start a business. A doer, obsessed with that dream, wakes up early to research markets, learns skills on YouTube, tests ideas, fails, tries again, and keeps going no matter how many setbacks come. Think of your phone for a moment. Almost everyone is obsessed with checking it. We don't forget to charge it. We don't forget to carry it. We don't forget to check notifications. Imagine if we treated our goals with the same obsession we treat our phones. Constantly checking in, constantly feeding it, constantly making sure it stays alive. The results would be unstoppable. Obsession also pushes you through boredom. Motivation dies the moment the work feels repetitive or boring. Obsession carries you through the grind. A musician obsessed with mastering the guitar doesn't quit when practicing scales gets dull. They know each scale brings them closer to mastery. A writer obsessed with their book doesn't stop. When words are hard to find, they sit there, typing, deleting, rewriting, until the story comes alive. Here's the difference. Motivation asks, do I feel like it today? Obsession says, I don't care how I feel. This has to be done. That shift is everything. If you rely only on motivation, you'll quit as soon as life gets uncomfortable. But if you're obsessed, discomfort doesn't stop you. It fuels you. So how do you build obsession? It starts with clarity. You need a dream so powerful, so meaningful, that it shakes you awake. Something that makes you say, I cannot leave this world without making this happen. For some, it's creating a better life for their family. For others, it's building something that changes the world. For you, it could be proving to yourself that you're capable of more. Once you have that vision, feed it daily, read about it, work on it, surround yourself with it until it becomes part of your DNA. Obsession isn't unhealthy when directed at growth. It doesn't mean ignoring family or health. It means refusing to ignore your dream. It means putting your dream at the top of your priority list and never apologizing for chasing it. Remember this, motivation starts the journey, but obsession takes you to the finish line. The world doesn't reward the half interested, the half committed, or the half dreaming. It rewards those who burn with obsession, who stay awake long after motivation has gone to sleep. So the next time you feel your motivation fading, ask yourself, am I motivated or am I obsessed? Because if you want to turn sleepless nights into overnight success, obsession is the fire that will keep you going long after the world has given up. Got it? Here's a full 800-word motivational expansion of point V52. Sacrifice now, celebrate later. Just written in inspiring, real-life connected words without adding new key points. Pufanfabi expanded point 2e as a sacrifice now, celebrate later. Every dream has a price tag, and the currency is sacrifice. If you are not willing to give up comfort today, you cannot expect to enjoy freedom tomorrow. Success is not about luck, it is about paying the price in advance. The hard truth is that the world remembers those who delayed pleasure, who gave up temporary ease for permanent reward. When you look at successful people, what you see is the celebration, the applause, the lifestyle, the achievements. What you don't see are the sacrifices they made on the journey. You don't see the hours they spent working while others slept. You don't see the dinners they skipped because they were focused on their mission. You don't see the loneliness, the rejection, the pain. You see the glory, but you don't see the grind. Think about students who dream of becoming doctors, engineers, or lawyers. While others are out with friends, they are in libraries, studying late into the night. They sacrifice parties, movies, and free time. And years later, while their friends are still chasing stability, these students walk across the stage, receiving degrees that open doors to the life they envisioned. That moment of celebration is built on years of sacrifice. Or take the example of an athlete. While most of their peers are sleeping at 6 a.m., they are already sweating in the gym, running laps, lifting weights, practicing moves again and again. They say no to junk food. They say no to late night distractions. They say no to temporary pleasure. And years later, when they win a medal or break a record, people cheer for their talent. But in truth, it wasn't just talent, it was sacrifice. The principle applies everywhere. If you want financial freedom, you have to sacrifice impulsive spending today. It means skipping luxuries, saying no to unnecessary purchases, choosing to save and invest while others spend recklessly. In the moment, it feels like you're missing out. But a decade later, when your savings have grown, when you own assets while others drown in debt, you realize the sacrifice was worth every second. Sacrifice is not punishment. Sacrifice is a seed. You plant it today, and it grows into a harvest tomorrow. Every time you give up a distraction, every time you resist a temptation, every time you choose discipline over comfort, you are planting seeds of greatness. And when the harvest comes, the same people who laughed at your sacrifices will admire your success. Daily life is full of small examples. Imagine a parent working 2 jobs, sacrificing sleep, sacrificing personal desires, just to provide a better future for their children. They might not wear the best clothes. They might not drive the fanciest car. But when their children graduate, when they succeed, the joy on that parent's face is beyond description. The years of sacrifice turn into tears of happiness. That is, sacrifice now, celebrate later, in its purest form. Sacrifice is also about choices. Every yes is a no to something else. If you say yes to hours of television, you're saying no to learning a skill. If you say yes to constant social media scrolling, you're saying no to building your future. But when you say yes to sacrifice, yes to studying, yes to hustling, yes to working hard, you're saying no to mediocrity and yes to greatness. The difficulty is that sacrifice feels heavy in the moment. It feels like you're giving up too much. But let's put it this way, short-term sacrifice creates long-term comfort, while short-term comfort creates long-term struggle. For example, if you choose to sacrifice sleep to work on your dream now, later you'll have the freedom to sleep peacefully because your life is secure. If you sacrifice laziness today by exercising and eating right, tomorrow you'll celebrate with a healthy, strong body. But if you choose comfort now, skipping work, avoiding effort, indulging in bad habits, tomorrow you will pay the price with regret. Sacrifice is what separates winners from wishers. Wishing doesn't cost anything, but winning demands payment. The payment is in hours of effort, in missed opportunities for leisure, in dedication that feels endless. But here's the secret: those sacrifices are temporary. They don't last forever. Pain is temporary, but the pride of accomplishment lasts a lifetime. There's a beautiful daily life truth. Everyone sacrifices something. The difference is that some people sacrifice their future for present comfort, while others sacrifice their present comfort for a better future. You either suffer the pain of discipline now or the pain of regret later. The choice is yours. Imagine yourself a few years from now. You are living the life you always dreamed of. You're standing in your dream house, driving your dream car, living with peace and stability. In that moment, would you look back and regret the nights you sacrificed sleep? Would you regret the times you said no to distractions, the hours you poured into your craft, the opportunities you skipped for the sake of focus? No, you'll be grateful. You'll realize every sacrifice was a stepping stone to that celebration. So the next time you feel like quitting because the sacrifice feels too heavy, remind yourself, this is temporary. The pain, the effort, the sleepless nights, they won't last forever. But the results, the rewards, the celebrations, they will. Sacrifice now, celebrate later. That is the unshakable formula of success. Perfect. Here's a full 800-word motivational expansion of point 53 as discipline is the secret ingredient, is written in an inspiring story-driven way with daily life-relatable examples. Poo Poo Fum Poppy expanded point 3D. Discipline is the secret ingredient. Passion will light the fire. Dreams will set your vision. A motivation will push you to take the first step. But without discipline, none of it will last. Discipline is the secret ingredient that turns ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. It is the silent force that keeps you going long after the excitement has faded. Discipline means doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. And let's be honest, most of the time, you won't feel like it. You won't feel like waking up early. You won't feel like going to the gym after a long day. You won't feel like studying when your friends are out having fun. But discipline doesn't ask how you feel. Discipline simply whispers, do it anyway. Look around you. The people who succeed consistently aren't always the most talented, the most intelligent, or the luckiest. They are the most disciplined. They build habits, routines, and structures around their lives that carry them forward, even on days when their emotions try to hold them back. Take the example of a student. The difference between the top student and the average one is rarely intelligence, it's discipline. The disciplined student studies a little every day, takes notes, revises regularly, and doesn't wait until the night before the exam. They may not always enjoy the process, but they stick to it. Meanwhile, the undisciplined student waits until the last minute, crams and panics. When results come, people say, that student is so smart. But the truth is, it wasn't just smarts, it was discipline. Or think about fitness. Everyone wants to be healthy, everyone wants to have energy and strength. But the difference between someone fit and someone struggling is not desire, it's discipline. The disciplined person says no to junk food more often than yes. They wake up and exercise even when it rains, even when they are tired, even when the couch is calling. They build a lifestyle around health instead of waiting for short bursts of motivation. Over time, that discipline shapes their body, their confidence, and their mindset. Discipline also shows up in money. A disciplined person doesn't buy everything they desire at the moment. They create a budget, they save, they invest, they make sacrifices. While others waste money on trends, they quietly build wealth. Years later, people look at them and say, wow, they are lucky. But luck had very little to do with it. It was the discipline of consistent saving and wise decisions. What makes discipline powerful is that it compounds. One day of discipline doesn't change much, but months and years of discipline create results so big, people call it magic. A writer who writes 1 page a day may not impress anyone at first, but in a year, they'll have written a book. A person who saves just a small amount each week might feel it's nothing, but in a few years, it turns into financial security. A singer who practices daily scales, even when it feels boring, will one day astonish audiences with their voice. The small acts of discipline create the big results. Discipline also gives you freedom. It sounds strange, doesn't it? Because when you think of discipline, you think of rules, restrictions, sacrifice. But in reality, discipline frees you. A disciplined body gives you freedom from sickness. A disciplined mind gives you freedom from chaos. A disciplined routine gives you freedom from procrastination. The people who lack discipline are the ones truly trapped. They are trapped by laziness, by distractions, by regrets. Think about mornings. Waking up early is hard. Your bed is warm, your eyes are heavy, and every part of you wants to stay asleep. But the disciplined person gets up, starts their day, and takes control. That one act of discipline shapes the entire day. On the other hand, the undisciplined person keeps hitting snooze, wakes up late, rushes through the day, and feels stressed. The small decision of discipline or lack of discipline creates 2 completely different lives. And the truth is, discipline is not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. You don't have to be disciplined in every single moment. You just have to be disciplined often enough that your habits become stronger than your excuses. For example, if you want to write, you don't need to write for 10 hours a day. But you need to write something every day, even if it's just 1 paragraph. That discipline, repeated, will create results. Daily life gives us constant opportunities to practice discipline. Choosing water instead of soda is discipline. Reading a book instead of scrolling on your phone is discipline. Saving money instead of buying something unnecessary is discipline. Going to bed on time instead of watching just 1 more episode is discipline. These small choices don't seem important in the moment, but over time, they build character, strength, and success. Discipline is also a shield against regret. So many people live with the pain of looking back and wishing they had worked harder, studied more, stayed committed. That pain is heavier than the temporary pain of discipline. The good news is you can choose. You can either carry the weight of discipline now or the weight of regret later. One hurts today, the other hurts for a lifetime. And here's the inspiring truth: discipline is not a gift you're born with. It's a skill you build. Nobody starts perfectly disciplined. People struggle, they fail, they restart. But the more you practice discipline, the stronger it becomes, just like a muscle. Each time you choose discipline over comfort, you grow. So if you want success, stop waiting for motivation. Motivation is a guest, it comes and goes. Discipline is a resident, it stays. Discipline is the secret ingredient, the invisible power, the quiet strength that will carry you through the darkest nights and the hardest days. When you master discipline, you master your destiny. Alright, here's the AIR's 800-word motivational expansion of point FT4's Doubt is a companion, not an enemy. Written in inspiring, relatable words with real-life examples without adding new key points. 2 Fun Papi expanded point 4. Doubt is a companion, not an enemy. When people start chasing big dreams, they often believe that successful individuals never feel doubt. They imagine that the winners, the achievers, the leaders of the world walk with perfect confidence, never questioning themselves. But here's the truth. Every person who has ever accomplished something meaningful has carried doubt with them. Doubt is not a sign of weakness, it is a sign of humanity. And the most powerful people are not those who never feel doubt, but those who move forward in spite of it. Doubt shows up the moment you step outside your comfort zone. If you're trying something new, something bigger than yourself, it's natural to hear that little voice whisper, "What if you fail? What if you're not good enough? What if people laugh at you?" That voice doesn't mean you're incapable. It means you're growing. Doubt is like the shadow of growth. It appears whenever you step into the light of something new. Think about a child learning to ride a bicycle. On the first day, they wobble, they fall, they cry. Their little mind is filled with doubt. Maybe I'll never get it. Maybe I'm not meant for this. But then they try again. With each attempt, the doubt doesn't disappear immediately, it lingers. Yet the child keeps pedaling, and eventually they ride freely. Did the doubt vanish before success? No, the child succeeded while doubt was still sitting in the background. That is the lesson. You don't need to eliminate doubt to succeed. You need to act even with it. Look at some of the world's greatest creators. Authors, for example, J.K. Rowling, before Harry Potter became a global phenomenon, doubted herself deeply. She faced rejection after rejection, publishers telling her no, her own mind telling her she wasn't good enough. But instead of letting doubt silence her, she kept writing. Imagine if she had listened to that voice completely. The world would never have known her story. Or take entrepreneurs. Every person who starts a business feels doubt. They doubt whether people will buy their product, whether their idea is strong enough, whether they'll survive the storms of failure. Elon Musk admitted he doubted Tesla and SpaceX would even succeed, but he kept going. The difference is not that doubt was absent. The difference is that action was stronger than doubt. Daily life is full of these examples. A student walking into an exam hall feels doubt. Did I study enough? Will I remember everything? But the disciplined student writes the test anyway, using preparation to quiet the doubt. A person starting their fitness journey looks in the mirror and doubts, will I really lose weight? Can I really change? Yet, those who keep showing up to the gym, even with doubt sitting on their shoulders, transform their bodies. A young professional might doubt whether they are capable of leading a project at work. But by taking the challenge, learning step by step, they prove themselves not to the world, but to their own inner voice. The key is to change how you see doubt. Too many people treat doubt as an enemy, as a signal to stop. They think, if I feel doubt, maybe it's not meant for me. But doubt is not a stop sign. It's simply a signal that you're walking on a road you've never traveled before. And that's a good thing. It means you're breaking limits. Think about driving a car at night. You can't see the entire road. You only see as far as your headlights reach. The rest is darkness, unknown. That unknown creates a little doubt. What if there's a curve ahead? What if something blocks the road? But you don't stop the car. You keep moving. With every few meters, the headlights reveal more, and you move forward. That's how life works. You don't need to see the entire road. You don't need to erase all doubt. You just need to keep driving, keep moving, one step at a time. Sometimes doubt even protects you. It forces you to prepare better, to think carefully, to stay humble. A student who doubts whether they've studied enough might review their notes again and score higher. An athlete who doubts whether they're ready might train harder and perform better. Doubt, when handled wisely, becomes fuel instead of a chain. The danger is not doubt itself. The danger is letting doubt control your decisions. Doubt says, don't try, you might fail. But discipline says, try anyway, failure is part of learning. Doubt says, you're not good enough. But courage replies, maybe I'm not yet, but I will be if I keep going. The moment you stop waiting for the disappearance of doubt, you unlock unstoppable momentum. Imagine this: a singer standing backstage before their first performance. Their hands shake, their stomach churns, their head screams. What if you mess up? That's doubt. But the moment they step on stage, sing through the trembling, and hear the applause, doubt transforms. It doesn't vanish completely, but it weakens. Each performance makes it quieter. This is how we grow. So the next time doubt visits you, don't treat it as your enemy. Treat it as a companion that reminds you you're on the edge of growth. Remember, people who never doubt are usually the ones who never attempt anything big. Doubt means you're aiming higher than your comfort zone. It means you're daring to live a bigger story. Don't wait for perfect confidence. It may never come. Instead, act with imperfect courage. Carry your doubt with you, but don't let it drive. Let action lead. Let persistence lead. Let discipline lead. Because success is not built on the absence of doubt. It is built on the decision to keep moving forward, even when doubt is screaming in your ear. In the end, when you achieve your goal, people will only see your success. They won't see the doubts you carried, but you will know. You will know that you didn't wait for certainty. You walked with doubt and still arrived at greatness. Here's the full as 800-word motivational expansion of Point 55. Consistency creates miracles, written in attractive, inspiring words with daily life-relatable examples, without adding any new key points. Fonfampi expanded Point 5D. Chess consistency creates miracles. Success is not built in a day, a week, or a single breakthrough moment. It is built through small, repeated actions that stack up over time. People often underestimate the power of consistency because it doesn't feel dramatic. It feels ordinary, boring, even invisible. But the truth is, consistency is the quiet miracle worker. It is the hidden force that transforms average into excellence, effort into mastery, and dreams into reality. Most people want fast results. They want the body in a month, the money in a year, the recognition overnight. And when results don't appear immediately, they give up, assuming success isn't meant for them. But those who understand the power of consistency know that greatness is not about intensity for a short while, it's about persistence for a long time. Think about learning to play an instrument. If someone practices for 10 hours one day and then doesn't touch the instrument for a month, their progress will be minimal. But if they practice just 30 minutes every day, in a year their skill will shock everyone. The difference is not talent, it's consistency. Day after day, note after note, effort after effort, until the music flows naturally. Or think about fitness. Going to the gym once for 5 hours will not change your body, but going for 45 minutes every day, even when you're tired, even when progress feels slow, creates transformation. The weight you couldn't lift last month becomes easy. The mirror slowly reflects strength and health. Consistency rewrites your body one choice at a time. Daily life is filled with examples of how consistency shapes outcomes. A student who studies 20 pages a day instead of cramming at the last minute will not only remember more, but also build deeper understanding. A person who reads 10 pages of a book every day might feel it's nothing, but in a year, they'll have finished 12 books. Knowledge doesn't come in one grand gesture, it comes in small, steady bites. The same applies to money. Saving a small amount daily doesn't feel powerful. What's a $2 or a $5 a day? Almost nothing. But over time, with discipline, those small savings grow. Add investment, and years later, that tiny consistency turns into financial security. What seemed insignificant in the moment becomes life-changing in the long run. Consistency is not glamorous. It doesn't get applause in the beginning. Nobody claps for the person who wakes up early every day, who writes quietly, who practices in the shadows. But months later, when results appear, people call it talent, genius, or luck. They don't see the consistency behind the curtain. They only see the miracle it produced. One of the best examples is water and stone. If you drop water on stone once, nothing happens. If you pour a bucket, still nothing much. But if a drop of water falls in the same spot every single day, over time, that soft water carves through the hard stone. That is the power of consistency. Gentle but unstoppable. The reason consistency creates miracles is because it builds habits. Habits reduce the need for willpower. At first, waking up early feels impossible. But if you do it consistently, your body adjusts, your mind accepts it, and one day it becomes normal. At first, saying no to junk food feels hard, but with consistency, your taste buds change, your health improves, and suddenly you crave better options. Consistency turns effort into automatic action, and that's where the magic lies. Let's bring it closer. Imagine two people start writing. One writes when they feel inspired, once every few weeks. The other writes daily, even if just a paragraph. A year later, the first person has a few scattered pages. The second person has a full manuscript ready to publish. Same dream, different result, all because of consistency. The problem is that consistency feels too slow for most people. We are wired for instant gratification. We want to see results now. But miracles don't happen instantly. They happen gradually and then suddenly. A bamboo plant, for example, takes years of watering before it even shows above the ground. But once it breaks the soil, it grows rapidly, shooting up to incredible heights in weeks. Success works the same way. Years of invisible consistency, followed by what looks like sudden success. Consistency also builds trust with yourself and with others. When you show up for your goals daily, you teach yourself reliability. You prove to yourself, who I can count on me. That self-trust is powerful. And when others see your consistency, they respect you. They know you're serious, not just talking but doing. Consistency earns credibility. Think of your own routines. The person who goes for a short walk daily will be healthier than the person who runs only once in a while. The employee who gives consistent effort at work will rise faster than the one who works hard only when watched. The friend who consistently shows up in times of need will be valued more than the one who is there only occasionally. Consistency is the foundation of growth in every area: health, wealth, relationships, knowledge, and success. And here's the secret: consistency is not about perfection. You don't have to do it flawlessly every single day. You just have to do it often enough that progress never stops. Missing one workout doesn't matter. Missing one study session doesn't matter. What matters is that you come back again and again, refusing to quit. That return, that persistence is what creates miracles. At the end of the day, consistency is proof of commitment. Anyone can start, but very few continue. Anyone can get excited, but very few stay steady. The winners are not the ones who sprint fastest. They are the ones who keep walking, step after step, until the finish line. So if you ever feel like your efforts are too small, too slow, too invisible, remember this: the small, invisible steps are the ones that create visible miracles. Keep showing up, keep working, keep believing. Because success doesn't come from what you do occasionally, it comes from what you do consistently. Here's the 100-word motivational expansion of point 6. Sleepless nights build the strongest souls. Jets. Written with attractive, inspiring words and relatable daily life examples. No extra key points added. Fu Fun by expanded point 6c. Sleepless nights build the strongest souls. Greatness is never born in comfort. It is shaped in the long, silent hours when the world is asleep and you are still awake, working, planning, dreaming, building. Those sleepless nights, the ones that leave you exhausted, the ones that test your patience and stretch your limits, are not wasted. They are forging you into someone stronger, wiser, and more resilient than you ever imagined. Sleepless nights are the hidden training ground of champions. When you stay awake working toward your vision, it feels lonely. Everyone else seems to be resting, enjoying life, living without worry, while you wrestle with doubts, challenges, and unfinished tasks. But here's the truth: those moments of struggle are building your soul. They are carving out determination inside you. They are teaching you endurance, a lesson no classroom can ever provide. The sleepless nights you endure today will one day become the stories of strength you share tomorrow. Think about a student burning the midnight oil before an exam. While others chose comfort, they chose effort. The tired eyes, the empty coffee cups, the hours of reading, at the time it feels painful. But when results arrive, when the student achieves their goal, they realize those sleepless nights were worth it. The knowledge they gained and the discipline they developed became part of their character. The exhaustion faded, but the achievement remained. Or consider an entrepreneur starting from scratch. They spend countless nights building their business plan, answering emails, creating designs, worrying about finances. They sacrifice sleep not because they want to suffer, but because their dream demands it. Years later, when the business thrives, people only see the success. They don't see the nights spent awake, staring at the ceiling, wondering if it will all work out. But those nights built resilience. They transformed fear into courage, confusion into clarity. Sleepless nights also reveal who you really are. When you're tired, when you've pushed your body and mind past their limits, your true strength comes out. In those hours, you learn what you're capable of. You learn how to keep going when every part of you wants to quit. And that lesson stays with you forever. The next time life throws challenges at you, you remember, I've been through worse. I've survived sleepless nights. I can survive this too. Daily life shows us this lesson everywhere. A mother staying up all night with her sick child learns resilience no textbook can teach. A father working double shifts, barely resting, builds strength through sacrifice. A writer staring at a blank page at 3 a.m., refusing to give up until the words flow, develops grit that outlives exhaustion. These sleepless nights are not just struggles, they are soul-building experiences. The strongest souls are not those who had everything easy. They are the ones who fought battles when nobody was watching. They are the ones who cried in silence, but wiped their tears and kept going. They are the ones who faced rejection, failure, loneliness, but still stayed awake, still worked, still believed. The strength you admire in people is often the result of countless nights when they refused to surrender. Think about inventors and pioneers. Thomas Edison worked through the night on his experiments, failing thousands of times. Each sleepless night made him stronger, sharper, more determined. He could have quit, but instead he allowed those struggles to toughen his spirit. Today, we turn on a light switch without thinking, but behind that simple act are countless nights of exhaustion, trial, and persistence. Even nature teaches us this truth. Diamonds are formed under extreme pressure. Gold is purified in fire. The most beautiful pearls are formed when irritation and struggle occur inside a shell. Likewise, the strongest souls are formed during sleepless nights, under pressure, through fire. What feels unbearable in the moment is shaping you into something precious and unbreakable. It's important to understand that sleepless nights are not permanent. They are seasons, chapters in your story. The tiredness will fade, the pain will pass, but the lessons, the resilience, the strength, they will remain. Years from now, you won't remember the exhaustion, you'll remember the victory. You won't feel the tired eyes, you'll feel the pride of accomplishment. And here's the beautiful part: sleepless nights give birth to gratitude. Once you've been through them, once you've struggled and sacrificed, you value success so much more. You don't take it for granted. You appreciate the peace that comes after the storm, because you remember the nights you prayed, worked, and fought for it. Success feels sweeter because you know the price you paid. So the next time you find yourself awake at 2 a.m., struggling, questioning, doubting, remind yourself, this is not wasted. This is training. This is soul building. This is the universe preparing you for the weight of the success you're chasing. If success were easy, everyone would have it. But it isn't easy, and that's why it demands sleepless nights. One day, when you stand in the place you always dreamed of, people will look at you with admiration, They'll say, "You're so lucky," but you will know the truth. You'll know that it wasn't luck, it was those sleepless nights. It was the strength you gained in silence. It was the battles you fought when nobody clapped for you. Sleepless nights don't break you, they build you. They turn fragile hearts into strong souls, soft minds into sharp thinkers, ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. So embrace them. Don't curse the sleepless nights. Thank them, because they are sculpting you into someone capable of handling the weight of your dreams.